Friday night, I want a Chippy Tee. Chippy Tee, Chippy Tee, I want a Chippy Tee. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tee.
Is it a bit chilly as well?
It's to be honest a bit nippy, a little bit nippy.
Yeah. I feel
over fucking alligator country.
In alligator country, yeah. What's the weather today? I don't know what it is. It is currently 80 degrees. The fuck is 80 degrees in normal language?
I want to say, fucking actually burning.
Fahrenheit, Celsius, 26.
That's lovely, isn't it?
26 is nice.
I don't think we get some 26 like peak of summer for about a week.
July,
if we're lucky.
August, yeah. July, Augustish, yeah. But yeah, it's. I'm not near the sea. I'm in the middle. I'm closer to Mickey Mouse than I am to Donald Duck. to any body of water. Yeah, because Florida's a bit strange because it's full of. I don't want to be offensive to anybody, but if you're a grown adult. No, if you're a grown adult and you dress with Mickey Mouse ears and all your party has the same shirts on, I love the fact that everybody's buying printed shirts for a trip because it keeps us in business. But the other bit, a 35-year-old woman giggling at getting to meet Mickey, I don't trust that woman.
No, it's a bit concerning, isn't it?
It is, yeah. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Hazy Jane.
Hazy Jane?
It's actually probably the first IPA I've ever found that I actually like. I've never seen that before. That looks
Yingling.
Looks like a fat can as well, like not just a typical
Yingling.
Yingling?
It's a pint. It's a pint can.
Now that's all right, that, isn't it? You don't get pints over here.
No.
Apart from pub.
16 fluid ounces.
Can't go far on cut.
This is odd because I've finished work and you're waiting to go to bed.
Yeah, no. I've just done a 8-hour shift washing screens, which is why I look a bit drazzled. A bit rough around edges.
Yeah.
Fucked. Knackered.
I thought you got a little swamp donkey to help you.
I've put an advertisement out for it. I say put an advertisement out. I put an Instagram story on.
Any joy?
Not gone too much effort. No, not a sausage.
That's because the only people that follow you are already printers and they're looking for the same thing.
Yeah, well, I might make a bit more of an effort, put like a proper post out and
put a post-it note outside on Crack Alley. See what you get.
Well, yeah.
I would, because
in exchange for
you're going to get people who want to work for cash. Yeah. Cash first and then drugs.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I've just done. I sort of let it get on top of me, and I had a massive stack of screens that were full of ink, and some of them were sat there since Christmas.
Ooh.
So it's sort of my own fault a little bit, letting things get on top of me. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to spend the whole day washing screens, getting ink out, stripping emulsion, degreasing, haze removing / degrease at the same time. And honestly, it took some doing to get through.
I thought you enjoyed it.
Do I? No, I hate washing screens.
I thought you enjoyed it. I thought you found it therapeutic.
No, never.
No?
I've heard you say that, and I've heard others say that, but
I disappear. I put my earphones on, so I can't hear constant whine of the cheap as money can buy.
Power
washer, and then I just disappear off somewhere and lose a couple of hours. For me, it's great.
It's the opposite for me because those hours disappearing. If there's any anxieties or if there's anything stressing me out or pissing me off at the time, it comes to surface. On them. Yeah, it just gives me time to think about them.
Some time to concentrate on all the shit that's bugging you.
Yeah. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. Demons come out in that screen room. I tell you.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah, they can do. Yeah. Anything you're sort of worried about and concerned about. Just trying to plug this in before it runs out of battery.
Sorry, I've just about got eardrums left.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm a bit close to the microphone. Sorry.
He's basically just screaming in here.
Can you hear me, mother? Right.
But
we're nearly there now.
We're nearly there to get the episode going. But I got it done anyway, so it gives me tomorrow I can coat them all in the morning. Hopefully they'll dry within about an hour-ish in my screen room. And then I can get cracking. And if I try keep on top of it and I still fail, I'm still struggling for screens, I'm still finding myself facing an empty rack, then I'll put a bit more effort into finding someone to run that side of things for me.
I'll buy more screens.
Yeah, but if you buy more screens, it's just took me a day to do what I've currently got, and I've not even finished. To be fair, there's still a stack left to go. So just doubling up, for example, that turns into a 2-day job. So I'm not really gaining out other than just delaying the inevitable time in the screen room.
Yeah.
So I do need some more screens.
It's a band-aid. Yeah, it's a bit of a band-aid.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and get someone in to help me out.
You've got no younger members at family role that you can abuse?
No, but they're 3 and 5. So I've got about a year to go yet. So
yeah, not long.
Yeah. So soon, but for now, it'd be nice if our Jade came back, but she ain't got time to do it. She's busy. So our Jade was perfect employee for me. But it's just not possible at the minute. Maybe when kids are a bit older, it'd be good to get her back. Ariel's got a full-time job. She comes and helps when she can, but he's on his... Yeah, I feel guilty having her around because she wants to spend time with me on a weekend, and I'm saying, come stack these shirts on me.
Yeah, so... the guilt soon passes.
Well, the guilt is I've built a clothing brand in return, so...
There you go, yeah.
While
we're here, we'll just clean these 20 screens while we're here.
Get that room, will you? Degree 7 for us, will you, cut? No, I won't do it. I tell you what, it's horrible. It's an horrible job. If anybody employs someone to wash screens full time, an 8-hour days, a 7.5-hour day, I think standard full time, isn't it? Somebody standing washing screens with a power wash, scrubbing with a scrubbing brush, 7.5 hours. I don't care. I don't know how much you're paying them, but you're not paying them enough. Give them more money. That's an horrible job. Just for chemicals on its own.
Well, this is why we automate it. There's so many machines around now. They don't have to go for the 150 grand car washer.
Well, there are options now, aren't there? We've just seen one pop up.
I saw one. Did we?
Yeah. Blue water. They've almost got like a...
Yeah,
in the middle.
They're still expensive, though, for what they are, for plastic
I'm
belts.
assuming they're sort of in between a Zentner and a power wash. But maybe I'm totally wrong. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, they're in between a Lotus Holland and a Zentner.
Are they actually? So the Lotus Holland. So if we were to put price-wise, the Lotus Holland is your first step into automation.
Yeah. Lotus Holland in Pro, they're about the same. Yeah.
Right. So
now that he's teamed up with the Americans, he's got more expensive now.
Right. Well, this is an area I don't know about. I know what I've heard of a Zentner. The Lotus Holland, that's like a 2-chamber, very similar to like car wash type of thing, and that's the cheapest option.
3-chamber. There's a couple of options below that. In fact, I saw one last week when I was knocking about with our mate Dave. It had a name like a superhero. I'm sure it was Aqua Blaster or something. And it was basically a very small box about the size of your print area where you put the screen through in landscape mode. And it's a jet wash inside a box, but it's a spinning, 2 nozzles spinning.
I like that idea. That'd help so
I
much.
I like that idea. I really like that idea. I thought it was a good idea.
Why has nobody... Well, I guess someone has made it, but you don't see it,
they made it in America. So I looked at it and I went, do you know, for what that is, I quite like that. And the people that had bought it went, "It's shit." We don't, God, no. So what do you mean? So there were some issues with it. That's all. But there were teething issues. It wasn't shit. It was just getting it running was difficult. But the machine itself.
But I've heard that literally on every single one of those machines.
I think it was a Lotus Hollander. It might have been Impro, but it's single chamber, one chamber only.
Right.
Okay, so it's only water, high pressure water. But it's basically it's outside his screen room. So it does his imaging, and then puts it into this machine, which is a developer. Really, that's what it's made for, a developer.
Yeah.
And it does a low pressure rinse and soak, nice and slow and steady all the way through. But then there's another setting where you increase the pressure. So you go from low pressure to high pressure, and he's got a dip tank.
So he dips it.
So he dips it for a minute and then runs it through this machine. And I said, "Does it work?" He went, "No, sometimes you've got to run it through twice, but it's damn sight better than stood there in your lass of sweatshirt with trench foot on your feet, scrubbing away."
It is. I can imagine. I like that idea. I feel like we need an entry point into automation, because I feel a million mile away from automation. I've just clawed my way into the auto print machine world. I've got an MHM from MHM Direct. Don't know if I mentioned it.
Never.
It's an 8.6. But
Daniela Moss.
thought of going to
You'd be doing some cooking. What's all that about?
No, I don't know. It just came to mind. Sometimes I just run out of ideas. I don't know what first thing that came up. The idea of going automated in the reclaim room feels quite distant for now. It'd be interesting to know if there are an entry level, much like we've got the entry level direct to screen machines.
So here's my idea for an entry level screen washing machine that I've had when I've been doing lonely hours with earphones in, listening to me Kylie Minogue while I'm blasting away.
Kylie Minogue,
and that, imagine a robotic arm.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a robotic arm picks the screen up, dunks it, waits a minute, picks it up, moves it into the next box, and the next box is just a row of high-pressure washers, and it just pushes it down, pulls it back up, pushes it down, pulls it back up until it's clean, and then comes back out again. Simple. Doesn't have to be difficult, does it?
You're going to call it a tea bagger. Screen tea bagger. That's all I'm running through my head. That's all it is, isn't it, really? Just a robot that tea bags screens.
Actually, I'm lost. No, you win. you win. You win. I'm done.
So welcome to episode.
So welcome to episode 73 of the Chippy Tee podcast, which is your chance to catch up with an irrelevant phone call that happens between me, Tony P at Palm Print, and
9-8 Flippy Sweet Print Co. Alt best.
Chief Teabagger.
Chief Teabagger.
So
it was a good idea, but I quite liked it.
I love the idea. I'm going to have to work on the name.
I like the idea. I think I prefer
Chippy Teabagger.
Chippy Teabagger. But just a box full of jet washers that blast the screen.
Even if you hold it yourself, yeah.
Well, I'm surely somebody can make a enclosed power wash. You put a screen in just by hand. You don't even have to run through. You just slide it in. Go get your next screen ready. Pull that one out. Swap it. Even that in itself would be quite handy.
That exists. That's the M&R Eco Rinse, and the same as what Ricardo's building. But again, it all seems to go too far, with these big empty boxes. We just want the one that's same size as a screen.
Yeah, a bit overkill for what we need.
And if my robotic arm idea don't work, use your own arm. Have a clamp that you put onto the screen, so you don't get your hands dirty. Push it into push it into the dip tank, pull it out, and then just like whole pot washer.
Yeah, so you've almost got what I've just said, a box full of jet washes, but it's floor standing.
You're pushing it in and out, up and down, rather than across.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget it only has to go to, what, a couple of centimetres below the top of frame. It don't have to go the entire distance. So you can do it, you could fingertip it in.
Yeah, just a clamp, a handle that clamps on.
I'll have to make one.
Yeah, I think we should. But we can't call it
We'll just add that to a list of inventions that we've come up with.
Yeah. We need to follow through on some of them, don't we? Otherwise we're in trouble.
We do. So you've had your moment of fame. You've had your 1 minute of fame on the old
I cheated on
shirt show. You did actually a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit disgruntled by the old.
So the full story was shirt show. I've started to do Sunday Night Live on Instagram. I'm sat in the pub, been there for an hour, and they start talking about KPIs, which is captain spreadsheet. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay,
what are actually KPIs?
Key performance indicators.
But
they're not KP peanuts. They're not salted and dry roasted or planters. It's
very salted nuts.
Don't.
Teabagging, very salted nuts.
Don't. I knew where you were going. So key performance indicators.
No wonder we won't get an invite to shirt show.
The metrics that you pick to measure whether you're doing well or not. So how well are you doing? So a key performance indicator could be the number of prints you do, or it could be the number of screen changes you do, or it could be the number of screens you clean per day. But there has to be a key performance indicator that you use, which is constant, doesn't change. And it's an indicator of whether you're either busy, not busy, making money, not making money, or however you're performing.
Money at bank?
Well, no, I say... You say money at bank because you're an owner. If you're not an owner and you're working in production, then that KPI, that metric, you can't control whether you've sold it for a tenner or you've sold it for 15 quid. But what you can control is how efficiently you produced it. So if you sell a one-colour print on 100 tees and you get 15 quid a go, and then the next day you sell it for a tenner, but I produce it at the same rate, if you don't use a metric that you can use to tell whether you are being efficient or not, if you just use money, you'll say, well, you did better on the first job. Well, no, you just charged a higher total order value. But if I'm not in control of that total order value, then all I can ever do is produce 100 pieces as fast as I can.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it depends where your point of view comes from.
Yeah, as an owner, you want to know how much money you've made. As a production person, I want to know if I've been efficient in my production. So I can't use money as a measure of efficiency. I can only use money as a measure of contribution. Yeah.
I mean, from my point of view, it's obviously money, but the more production, the faster I can produce T-shirts, the more I can do within a set amount of hours, the more money I make. So they're both important to me. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters to me is the business making money.
Yeah.
I mean, if I sell 10 T-shirts at full-blown retail, 10 T-shirts, that's probably not enough, but you know what I'm saying. If I sell a box full of T-shirts at full-blown retail, or I sell 20 boxes at wholesale prices, I think I'd sooner sell a box.
Well, we'd all rather
I can't got that luxury, you know.
I'd rather sell one T-shirt for £1 million than 1 million shirts for £1 each. But I'm talking about the efficiency of the production of them. How do I measure that? I can't say that, well, yesterday, when you turned that machine on to turning it to the time you turned it off, you earned me £2,000. And today, you've only earned me £1,000. Have you not been working? So, no, I've been working with tea bags off today because it's just that you've sold these for 50p. And yesterday, you sold the same one colour print for £3.
Yeah, and it varies as well. Like a 6-colour print might be more valuable in terms of price per shirt, but in terms of price per minute of press time, it might not be. It might not be so valuable.
So that's what that was the point I was trying to make. Stop trading in money and trading time units, because that's what we sell, time. So assign a time value to every shirt, to every job.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, really. Time is everything, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, assign a time value.
If you can come up with a formula where your prices are based on the amount of time a 1-colour job, a 2-colour, a 6 or 12-colour job takes, times by the number of shirts. Well, I know if I chuck 100 shirts on and it's a 12-colour job, it takes 30 seconds on an MHM S-type.
Where'd you get that from?
I make about 20 grand. Probably get one of them from MHM Direct GB. I bet they'd tell you one if you wanted, if you asked nicely.
So somebody reached out to me afterwards and said, look, that's a great idea. I like what you're saying, but it's so difficult in our industry because everything is different. Even a 3-colour job, it might be a little left chest where none of the colours are touching. Or it might be a full all over where the colours are bleeding into each other. How do I allocate a time value for each one of those? And it's right. It's difficult, but, there's software out there. Printavo has a power scheduler. Monday.com, Salesforce, I'm on today. They've got these programmable units that will tell you, but you have to feed the information in. So you have to be aware of how long it takes you to do shit.
You could build a spreadsheet with a row of drop-down boxes, and each of those drop-down boxes starts with how many colours in the print. Let's start from scratch. The total quantity of prints. Yeah. How many colours in the print? Does it require an underbase? Yes or no? And then each drop-down box adds a time value until you get to the ultimate end result, which is saying, right, well, this really educated estimation of half an hour, 2 hours, whatever. And if you charge this much per T-shirt, I'm sure if you put the effort in, if you put the time, I'm sure you've probably already done it, to be fair. You can build that quite... I'm sure you have.
I've got a finished one that tells me how many screens I made, how many films I made, and how many of each type of job. So I solved the issue. My solution was, how do I differentiate between a dark shirt and a light shirt taking longer? And I had 3 categories, which were basically easy, medium, and hard.
Yeah.
So if I categorize a job as being easy, the run rate would be 600 pieces per hour. If I categorize a job as being difficult, the run rate would drop to 300 pieces per hour, but the amount of time per screen was still the same. So I need to know number of pieces, number of colors, and difficulty of task.
I wonder if you can build that
from those Monday. 3. I built those.
I bet you could build that on Monday.
Yeah.
If you pay for the higher tier, about 50 quid, 30, 50 quid a month or something like that, you can use formulas on Monday. So I have all my sales data, invoice total, garment cost, delivery, any F-ups, account for costs, and then it tells me a total and stuff. I'm sure you could make some sort of Monday board that calculates that as well. Maybe not, but...
The reason I used mine was to predict when it was full, not to hit a target for making money, but actually to predict when it was full. I got sick of... We were on a 7-day turnaround. So, Monday, normal day. Tuesday, the phones go crazy. And the girls are taking orders left, right, and centre, and they automatically schedule them for 7 days' time. And then Wednesday, the phone never rings. It goes really quiet. So I get my required work for next week, and I've got Monday, normal day. Tuesday, crazy, stupid, absolutely balmy day. Wednesday, I'm dead. Now, do I work overtime till 10 o'clock at night to get all the Tuesday jobs out and send people home on a Wednesday?
Send some to me.
Or can I spread it over? Can I spread it over a certain amount of time? And I found that I can't start spreading it until I assign it a time value. So mine was to tell the sales girls when a day was full to stop promising on that day. So look at the scheduler and see that, well, actually, I know it's Tuesday today and it's a 7-day turnaround, but 3 of us have all just put 3,000-piece orders in for next Tuesday. So I'll either move mine out or put it into next Wednesday.
That's something I think I need to get a little bit better at. I've got on my Monday board, I've got a schedule of jobs that are to do. And I try to do it by day.
Dispatch date?
No. Yeah, in a way, they're not. Yeah, in a way, they are actually. Yeah, they're in order of, which I want to do as a priority. I put, well, I'm going to do this on Monday, this on Monday, this on Monday, and I'm going to do that on Tuesday. But it's something that I'm still a little bit rubbish at guesstimating. And that's probably because it is a guess.
I did that. Yeah, that's why I did it, because I wanted a formula.
Yeah.
Based on those 3 things. Number of pieces, number of colours. Why did I want to know number of colours? Because I allocate 15 minutes for each screen. In that 15 minutes is finding the screen, taping it out, setting it, taking it out, taking the ink out, and putting it back in the rack. That's my 15 minutes. So it doesn't take me 15 minutes to register it. It takes me 15 minutes to handle it.
The good thing with you, if you're working on autos, is it's very quantifiable. You can measure, you can time a revolution, and it'll always be the same. Yeah. Every job with the same amount of colours will always revolve, in the same amount of time. So at least once you've got those constants and those noted down, you can then take that and make a formula, make a spreadsheet with it. So maybe it's it's worth putting in that effort, record the data, short term, until you've got at least a ballpark figure in your head that you can assign.
I studied the data for a year. So I recorded the data for a year. God. And the initial reason for studying the data was a personal one. I wanted to know which department contributed the most revenue. That's not most profitable. That's contributed the most revenue. Was it the embroidery department or was it the print? The general consensus was that the embroidery department paid for the print department. So in other words, the embroidery department was profitable and the print department wasn't.
And you want to prove those bastards
wrong,
wrong,
I wanted to prove it wrong, even though I actually agreed it was probably about 70-30, maybe 60-40 on a good day, because the total order value of embroidery was higher.
Yeah.
You start embroidering jackets at 80 quid a go. It doesn't take long to get a total order value contribution.
No. I guess that's why.
If that's £1,000, then if I'm doing £1 a shirt, I've got to print 1,000 shirts, and you've only got to do 10 jackets.
Yeah, it's fair point.
It's total order value. So that's the reason I did it in the first place. I started to put the data in, gather the data, then look backwards, then try and predict volumes. It took a long time, but I really enjoyed doing it.
I feel like it's one of those jobs. Once you've done it, you've done it. It's there for life, You can always tweak it as you go.
2011, this.
Yeah, worthwhile job. Something worth doing. Very valuable. So, did you enjoy your moment of fame?
No.
Did you have a moment? Oh shit! I said it. Sorry. Did you have a other podcaster moment?
Did I have some regrets? Yeah. Well, number one, I was in the pub.
It's always dangerous, isn't it?
And I'm sat at the bar. I'm a couple of pints in. I've just eaten my chicken wings, and I'm like, I opened this and I've got it on. I thought, I asked a question there. I'll ask a question. I asked a question, and I got a reply. I thought, got a reply, and then I got a notification. Church Show has invited you to join the video.
No way.
And I looked around, and I'm sat at a bar. No, I can't. No, and it's ringing like a telephone call.
No way.
I'm like, I can't. No. I'm going to have to be rude and just say no. And then I'm like, there's a spot over there where there's a bonfire outside.
Yeah, but bloody lovely.
There was a little bonfire going, and I thought, there's nobody there. I could probably run over there and do a quick 2-minute conversation sat outside at fire.
Yeah.
So I did. Yeah. And it's only then that I've looked back and realised one of the bar girls, one of the waitresses followed me.
Really?
And she was stood there watching me. And it's only afterwards, when I got back to my seat, that I realised she thought I was doing a runner. I thought I was doing a dine and dash.
Oh, because you had like a bar tab or something.
Yeah, I've still got to pay for my chicken and chips. So I thought, all right, I now understand now. She probably thought I was going to do a runner out at the back door.
That dodgy Englishman nicking off with his chicken and chips. I'm going to start a petition to get you as a guest on the actual Shirt Show podcast.
Show.
I feel like your episode is long overdue, quite frankly.
Well, they know me now.
Well, you're best mates now, aren't you?
Bezzies, yeah.
I really enjoyed doing it with Shirt Show. I was super apprehensive, and I had a major anxiety. Once it had been recorded, thinking, "Shit, what have I said? What have I done?" And then I started inventing scenarios in my head because it comes out like a week later, and then by the time that week had elapsed, like in my head I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I brought this, and this up." And then I watched it back, and I was like, "I didn't say any of that. What am I on about?"
You just made up scenarios in your head.
Yeah, I went to full-blown doomsday scenario in my head. I don't know why. I just it don't. I don't know. Some of it's not very natural to me, but in hindsight, I quite like Dylan and Andy. They're nice blokes, and
well, you got asked on it before I did. You know, you were on it way before you started this.
I was on it. I don't know, like episode 50ish or something, maybe something like that.
Did they ring you?
Early days. Yeah. So I'd spoke to Andy a few times from ShirtCon, a few times. Not spoke to Dylan so much, and we just got in touch. Said, "Do you fancy jumping on?" Little did they know. What am I going to let myself in for?
You're a competitor now.
No. The Shirt Show the OGs, and it's looking very unlikely that we'll ever overtake them. So
we'll have to get some guests on first.
Yeah. So do you want to see a show and tell? I've got a show and tell for you.
What have you got lined up for us? What have you been doing this week? I ain't asked you what you've been doing this week, so yeah. What have you been doing this week, Daniel?
Well, I'm going to show you. It's a bit triste. Been sat on my desk for about a week.
You've just done it this week. It's nothing to do with those 6 that you already got prepared.
Yeah, totally. Right, I'm going to slowly raise it.
I don't think you're capable. Oh, wow. Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Now that's cool, isn't it?
That is cool.
Look how the gold shimmers.
Is that metallic?
Hell yeah, it is.
Nice. I'm liking that.
Now that is something else, isn't it?
That is special, is that? Who's it for?
It's actually a new brand. I can only assume, without knowing too much about it, it's some sort of gaming thing. And we've actually got a set of 3 designs, all of them similar to that, but one's a paladin, one's a warlock, and one's a rogue, which don't mean an awful lot to me, apart from
that's what you call the files,
so I know what they look like. That's yeah. Basically, that's what the folders are called. But originally the design, the intention was, it was just a standard mixed ink color. And I said, you know what? How cool would it look if that was metallic gold?
Which metallic gold have you used?
I've had a bit of a soft spot for Total Ink 24 karat gold.
Oh.
For quite a few years now.
Where do you buy Total Ink from in England?
Well, I've got some bad news for you, Sunshine. Because guess who's not got it in stock anymore?
Of course he hasn't. Artone.
Yeah.
Are you buying it from Artone? And he's suddenly not got any in? Or is he locked up?
I don't know, but I don't think he's got any in stock. I'm assuming it will be running out soon if he has still got some left. So yeah, I'll probably be looking at a new. Now then, funnily enough, speaking of ink, this brings us on to a new topic, which I've had a bit of a. I've had a bit of a change of heart.
Okay.
I think I'm going water-based.
From Plastisol?
No, from HSA/Plastisol. I'm tempted, and I'm feeling like I want to go full water-based.
Is that because you've been scraping plastisol for the last 3 hours?
Yeah, I mean, I just decided that an hour ago. No, it's something. I don't really know where it came from. I think it's a couple of different things. I've produced a few jobs recently where I thought there's a little bit it's just that little bit too much gloss for my liking.
Bit shiny, yeah.
And I'm quite good at bringing that down. I'm quite good at, I do produce quite a eggshell satin print, not matte, but somewhat closer than your typical plastisol print that you see. But I think since I've been using the auto, I'm finding it harder to get the same effect, the same. So I'm getting that little bit more shine in my prints. But then I also thought I've spent the past, 6 or 7 years saying, look, I gave water-based a go. I tried high solid acrylics. I tried printing the Magna Aquaflex range as a standard for a couple of years. Actually, I really give it a good go.
Yeah.
And the babysitting and the extra steps involved at the time on a manual, I gave up basically, and I just said, look, it's not for me.
Yeah,
I
on the manual,
love
you've
the
got
finish.
5 open screens, haven't you, drying in?
It was just a bit too much extra pressure and extra work involved for me to. And I came up with this halfway solution of printing V2 as a base, or just printing V2 white in general, and then putting plastisol colours on top. And I actually really did genuinely like the finish of that and the feel and the boldness and the opacity of the prints using that method. But when I think about it, I've run out of excuses, haven't I? I've got the auto now. So, really...
Dryer. Maybe the dryer. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there are stumbling blocks. There's still little... The dryer I've got now is small.
Did you get a longer one in?
So I'm getting one. He's just repainting it for me. I'll send you pictures. It needed a lick of paint.
You already have sent me pictures.
Yeah. It was a bit.
There's a couple of tubs of Amorite there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's actually stripped it properly. It's properly stripped the old paint off and undercoated it and put a couple of top coats on. So he's done a really good job.
Stripe.
He's going to put some decals on for me. He's going to put me a number 46 on front. Yeah. So actually, that little dry situation is a little bit better than it was coming soon. I've actually doubled my dryer size, which, I mean, actually, the shop it's come from is an all water-based shop, and they must have run that dry for a while. So it sort of gives me hope as what can be achieved. And it's custom built as well. It's slightly wider, but also it's got a shorter drop-off at the end.
Yeah.
So it's a bit more compact, because they were tight on space as well.
I wonder where it's come from.
I know where it's come from, I can tell you.
It come from Blackpool?
Birmingham. It was actually Richard who put them onto me. Put them onto me. Richard were setting up, moving the press room, and he mentioned that they must have said, "Oh, we've got this dry to flog." Richard said, "Oh, Danny might need one," and actually it's worked out quite well. Good. So if anybody wants an old Panther, which I've been too embarrassed to put in background of my podcast for about 10 years,
last year, yeah.
It's great, I'll tell you it.
It might help somebody, just starting off with some no experience, no skill, printing in the garage with a wooden frame on a 250 quid hinge top. I don't know anybody like that, but it could fit something like that.
That started quite well and slowly just turned into an absolute knife twist. I mean, if you're right, hats off to me, because I've made it work pretty well. I've done all right with it, haven't I, really? So I'm all right. But yeah, if anybody wants one, ignore Tony. It's a right piece of kit. Best investment you'll ever make. Don't use big long dryers these days. Chippy Tee UV ink's coming out soon anyway, so you just have to flash a light at it. which you can actually retrofit in that dryer. But yeah, tempted to go water-based. So I've got neutral base. I've got Aquaflex bases kicking about, and I've got a full kit of dyes. But whether I go down that route of printing Aquaflex white with Aquaflex top colours, or if I start looking at the other bases.
Look at the other bases. So I'm at a print shop now who's all Magna and 95% water-based.
Yeah.
And I must admit, once you make the commitment to go water-based and you go through the learning curve, it's so much easier to deal with. Well, no, not go through. Once you lose the fear, there you go. Once you lose the fear. I've been working on a press today, the last 2 days, 100% water based, no plastisol at all. Oh, that's gassy. And none of the press has been set for water based. Not at one point was it set for water based. It's been set for plastisol, which is open. There's been no rush. Some of the approvals took 10, 15 minutes, and we didn't get any drying in. We didn't get any stencil breakdown. We didn't get any issues at all.
You're telling me they're running that press with water-based, but they've got it set to plastisol?
Yeah.
Why?
They say it bleeds through a little bit if it's left flooded too much. Now, I don't agree with them, but I can't deny what I've just seen for the last 2 days of drying in.
Making it work.
Yeah,
do you know what?
Drying in.
I mean, if you think about drying in...
I'm in Florida, so maybe it's a little bit more humid than anywhere else, but I wouldn't say it was that more humid.
God, what an interesting idea. I mean, when you think about it, if you flood a screen, it can dry up in the open mesh. But if there's no ink in the open mesh, how can it dry in the open mesh?
It's the little residue that blocks into it.
It's a little bit, yeah.
But it prints out so well. And not once at all did we flood or wash up or anything.
They must be running foggers.
No.
What?
There was one fogger over on a rock on the white base, and that's the only one I saw. And it looked like a £2.50 one that somebody had found at Grow Your Own Weed shop.
I mean, if it's a one screen job, it's all you need, really, isn't it? But and Florida's pretty warm, a bit tepid.
It was, it's 26, 28 degrees, but it's humid.
Interesting.
It's not like a dry heat. But the one thing that stuck out the most was the relaxed attitudes of the operators. Nobody was panicking. So that's what I mean by relaxed. You just become accustomed to it. Lose the fear. You lose the fear of printing water-based. Even I, after all these years, still have that little bit of fear. But, I did that 9-colour water-based job in Belgium on a show, and that was fine. It wasn't a problem. I did notice the emulsion he's got is rock solid. They've got a guy there who's only been... I'm going off on a tangent, but there's a guy here, and he's been printing. He did 2 months on the end of the dryer, 2 months taking off, and he's been there a year. So he's only actually been printing about 8 months. I would have swore he's been printing 10 years. Really good, really relaxed. He's about 23 years old, something daft like that, and just really, really calm and relaxed around the print. And it made me think, oh God, I don't think I'm that relaxed about it. I'm sometimes a bit anxious about it drying in and anxious about it blocking. And he got 2 bits of screen, 2 bits of rag to clean out a little bit, and he's like that, and he's bending the screen. I'm like, oh, fuck, he's not frightened of that. He's not frightened of that, is he? And I thought, is that emulsion all right? Yeah, it's a bit blocked though. And I can hear it squeaking. I'm like, oh, he's going to pull that emulsion clean off. I looked at it, it was rock solid. So then I
go down rabbit
hole then. Yeah, so I go down rabbit hole then. Who's the emulsion? I don't know. So I go in the screen room. Do you chemically harden your screens? Is that where it is? Do we what? You put a chemical hardener on your screens? No.
Runs it from tumble dry, doesn't he?
It's a little panther that he bought from England.
It does, doesn't it?
No, they post-expose. So they expose on a little Velux, which is straight up, and then they give it another minute on a Starlight. And it's Murakami Pink T9 SBQ photopolymer. 1 pot.
How interesting. I've spent a fortune on this.
It was absolutely rock solid.
To be fair, plus Aqua. So we're talking about the fears. And now, on a manual, the big fear for me was always the setup time. It takes too long. It took too long to register jobs. And that was always a big fear. I was like, by the time I registered the job, the ink was already getting rubbery. And it was already, it's already causing problems before I even fitted my first shirt. But now that's sort of been taken out of the equation. The screens are going to keep it moving all the time. But the emulsion, like we've just been talking about, the Plus Aqua emulsion that Pyramid put me onto, I'm pretty confident in it. It's holding up, no problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
The only sort of...
Which one is it? The Lava or...
No, Plus Aqua. I know a lot of people...
Triton Plus Aqua, that's it.
Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of the bigger shops swear by Lava, which can also be bought from Pyramid. Sorry, it can also be bought from the LC&I. But they also do the Plus Aqua or the Aqua Plus, one or the other, which I know Sarah uses, and I
thought she used Lava.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know. Whatever. People like it, and that's all I'm saying.
So it's blue, 1 pot, and it's rock hard.
It has diazo in it. I use diazo in it.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think you can use it without, but I've been using it with, because that's what Dean showed me to do. Yeah, I'm pretty confident with it. It holds up well. So, like I say, I'm running out of excuses. I'm not worried about my emulsion anymore. I'm not worried about setup times because I've got them down quite low. I'm more often than not, I would say at this point, as you know, I'm on a bit of a mission to see how close I can get to CTS. And more often than not now, I'm chucking screens in and not touching it and going.
Really?
Not 100%, but more often than
close.
not.
Yeah.
More often than 50%. And there's still room for improvement. I'm still getting better at it. Little slight changes are getting me closer to that. So I'm really getting that.
It's nice though, isn't it, to be able to just throw screens in and be 90% of the journey through, coming from being an open frame system where you put the screens in, it's down to your skill on that day and whether you paid your dues to the squeegee gods.
Oh yeah. Well, on that day is quite true. I mean, I had jobs where I could spend a full weekend trying to get the bastard to line up, and then I go home ready to pull my hair out and give up on the whole thing, and then next morning I come in and get it in 10 minutes. Like the manual, it's just a whole kettle of fish trying to register jobs. But I mean, something that impresses me is I've had a few jobs where, let's just say, I've made a mistake or something. So I've finished the job, I've took the screens out, I've ordered replacements, I've chucked the screens back in, and just press go because I've not changed anything. So the MHM will clamp it into the exact same place. And you can just, whereas obviously if I mess up a job, which I don't do too often, but every now and again it's unavoidable, isn't it? If I mess something up and I'm like, oh shit, I'm 2 garments short now, I better order them for next day. The fear will there. Leave them screens in that press, don't touch them. Yeah. You can't take them out. We can't do any more printing for the rest of the day until that stock comes.
Until them shirts come in, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it used to be, but I've done it a couple of times now. Took them out, done something else, and then, when the stock comes, chuck them in. 2-minute job. Job done. So again, another excuse gone. I'm running out of excuses, and at this point, it's like I'm only letting myself down by not attempting it, because it's almost like bottling it. I'm being a bit of a bottle job by not attempting waterbased, because I know and deep down hand on my heart, a water-based print is a better, it's a nicer finish. It's a better finish.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Even if you've got your techniques down like you have, it's still a more. I love the description, a retail print.
Yeah.
It feels like something you would buy rather than something you'd won in a raffle.
Yeah. Well, I've always stood by my own little my print method, and I always said, look, it's as close as I can get to water based without being water based, and I stand by it. It were close, it were reasonably close enough for me to the point where I would if I pulled a catalogue of my prints out, there were plenty in there that I think you'd struggle to pick out as not water based. But it's still not water based. It might be close, but it's not quite there.
I've seen a lot of discharge prints here. So discharge, I've always said, is on its way out, being replaced by HSA. But I keep forgetting, if you're in control of the shirt and it's 100% cotton, or it's even 80-20 in some cases, you can still get fantastic results from discharge. It's got more negatives than positives. It is by a long country mile the best, brightest, softest method of printing that there is. But the negatives of not being able to see if there's a leak, the negatives of not being able to control the strength of dyeing the shirt and how it affects your colour, these have made it unpopular. But it is still a fantastic tool for like single and 1 and 2 colour jobs without a base.
Speed the process up so much.
Yeah, without a base, 1 or 2 colour jobs. It's like, wow. And they look awesome because they're big areas.
1 revolution as well.
Yeah, 1 revolution, big area,
no
nice and
flash.
soft. No.
What a dream.
Yeah.
I still think it's a little
I've seen
bit...
a lot more of it here than I normally see.
Yeah, you don't... there's a few shops I can think of who will do a fair bit of discharge, but you don't often see it as much. It's I mean, over here it's a bit of it's a particular market. It's the band shirt market that the printers who cater for that market are big on discharge. In America, I guess maybe it's the same sort of thing.
The place I'm at now doesn't do really band merch. They do merch, but more for businesses. And everything goes through an assessment period. There's a spreadsheet which tells him very cleverly what level of opacity to expect from this shirt with discharge, and it ranges from 75 to 90%.
This is why I could never get on with discharge.
Yeah,
nothing gets through the door unless it's 100%. 100% opacity. I like
70 to 90 is
colours.
acceptable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on shirt manufacturer and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've run V2 or V3, sorry, 3 times. Print flash, print on the odd occasion.
Yeah.
Because it's gone round twice, and for whatever reason, I've not got my variables quite right, and it's not been 100% opaque because it eats at me. So I still think I know you say you use the phrase, nothing's as good as it's the best quality print you can get discharged, but I still think it's a little bit subjective. Some people like to feel print. I'm not saying they want to feel thick plastisol sandpaper.
Yeah.
But they like to know this ink on top of a shirt. To some people means quality. It feels like quality to them.
Yeah.
Whereas not being able to feel it almost feels like it's a DTG type of job. I don't know. I don't quite get it, but I know it is a little bit subjective.
It is, yeah, definitely.
IMO.
I've seen more. I mean, this particular shop, their standard white print on a black shirt or white print on any shirt is 3 156s.
3 156. 3 156. What, mesh?
3 156 meshes. 3 screens, all of 156.
70? 55?
No. 55, I think. 62.
62s.
62. So 3 62s with soft blades printed 2 times, sometimes 3 strokes, to get these super bright, non-dying colours, even at the end of the dryer. Instead of using a migration base, just use 3 thin layers through a 62. And it's
For like
bright and
tri-blends.
crisp and clean. Yeah, tri-blends.
That's interesting.
3 screens is the standard, normal. I do this argument all the time. How much does a screen make to cost to make? If you don't know how much it costs to make a screen, then you have a perception that it's expensive. So I did the study.
It's me a full day of chuffing work. That's how much it cost me.
Autocoater, it takes you 3 hours to make one, not to clean one. Autocoater, auto developer, Spider, and normal wages. I got it down to just under £4 a screen, £4. So $5, £5, £4. Which means that if I'm paying somebody £15 an hour, if they piss about for 20 minutes because I haven't made the right screen, it saved me some money to just spend the £4 on a screen.
Yeah.
Although there's this perception, because we charge 25 to 30 quid to the customer to make the screen, we think that's what it costs us. So we think, well, I'm not charging, I'm not making a screen for 20 quid. Well, no, if we measure the emulsion, we use the time and we divide the time it takes to make one, and then even the cleaning and everything, we're looking at less than £5 a screen. So if you're shit deep in the middle of something and you're really regretting, not doing better at school, and I could say, well, I could solve that problem for you for £5. Do you want to do it or not?
You hands down.
Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
snap your hands off.
It won't cost you £5. It'll just be £5 less that you make on the job. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah. Do I have to send it round 3 times? No. All right. Do I have to sacrifice my firstborn? No. You're good. Off you go.
Screens on tap. It's one of the things where I think if ever I'm dissatisfied, if a job goes out at door, commercially acceptable, was that the phrase?
Yeah, we're good for that.
If a job goes out at door commercially acceptable, it's 9 times out of 10 because I've not got the screens on tap to make a quick change.
Yeah.
Something's not quite right. Fuck, I've not got enough screens to go really it. I'm just going to make it work.
This really
somehow.
should be a 62, but I've only got a 77.
Yeah, and that's where the commercially acceptable side of things comes into play. So yeah, having those screens ready to go, just swap them over. For sake of, like you say, for sake of a £5, it makes such a difference. If
it's whether that perceived cost is that low. Do the workings out on how many screens you make out of a tub of emulsion, or even better, weigh the fucker.
Yeah, well, you could weigh it.
Weigh the coating trough before you coat a screen, and then weigh it again after. And then you work out exactly how much emulsion's on that screen. You already know how much it costs you for 5 litres, which is 5,000 grams. So then divide what you've used. If you've put 50 grams of emulsion on that screen, you've got a cost per gram. It's dead simple.
I'll just make a tally every time you do a screen, and then when you run out of that ink, you know what, it makes this many screens.
Most of us have got digital scales in the shop anyway.
Yeah, but it's maths, isn't it?
yeah, but that's for drug dealing. It's not maths at all. It's A minus B equals C.
It just sounded like a really long way of doing things. I just thought, I don't know, I just think counting how many screens you get out of a pot of emulsion is easier.
It might take you about 2 months though to use a pot of emulsion.
It's chuffing, doesn't it, a minute, tell me. So I used to get the barrels. of Sarti. So they'd last a few months. But now, because I'm getting little 5 litre jobs from Pyramid, I've got to ask them if they do bigger tubs, because I'm going through them a bit too quick, really. I mean, I get like a couple of coating sessions out of it, and pot's nearly empty, which is not ideal. And whatever it comes to a pot, getting a bit spendy, getting a bit spendy. So I need to see if I do bavels and stuff. But yeah, that was my show and tell then.
I loved it. Thought it was great. How many
Good
of them
run
did
at
you do?
It were a run of 50.
All right, nice. I really like that gold. That gold was really impressive.
It's nice that. Nice
Yeah.
that. So let's talk about you a little bit. What's your current work situation? What are you up to?
I have no idea. I'm still in America. Came over in
America.
Came over in January. Don't forget.
Shit, yeah. Early March.
Yeah, it's March tomorrow. Yeah, or next week. Where have I been? So, I had an interesting one at the beginning of the week. Went to San Diego, and this was along the theme. Guy's bought a press and wants to be taught how to use waterbased.
Oh, yeah.
So, used to print 3 or 4 years ago. Sold his print equipment to concentrate on DTG, print on demand. He's got 3 corn each, so he's doing quite well, running DTG, but realised that some of the lines, some of the designs that he's selling, which are all his own, do really well. So
All right.
the DTG maxes out at about, I don't know, 40 an hour or something. It's really, really slow. It's in the dryer for 8 minutes, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So he wants to, when a design starts to take off, throw it onto a print machine and print a couple of hundred. Even if he only prints 150 a day, he's still gonna make shitloads of money because he's only got one guy, and he puts one guy on the cornet and he gets about 60 shirts. Puts one guy on the press and he gets 150. It's worth it to him. So he's bought an old M&R, a Challenger 3, an 1816. So no, 16, 1820. It's like
so big old, just to do his own brand.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a machine, that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's test for a 7-colour job, water-based job on a base. I know, yeah.
Wet
Not
on wet.
printed before. Yeah, wet on wet. Not printed before.
Fucking hell. Just give it deep end, why don't you? Jesus.
I didn't do it. He said that.
Self-inflicted.
I know, yeah.
What a sadist.
This machine, this press is an old M&R Challenger. I say old, it's 2011. So it's not that old. But what a beast. And it took me right back to the days when I was working at Jam Factory in 1992, running Challengers and Gauntlets. Not much has changed. This one has a few features on it that are quite good. It has the jog feature, which I think M&R have dropped now.
Jog?
You move the pallets halfway. Jog is like the clean function on MHM. But it's got the go-to as well, you know. Go to that pallet over there, which...
Yeah, I quite like that.
It's a good feature. And all the rocks have got that feature. So...
I'm sure MHM could implement it.
It's got lots and lots of good stuff on it, and I quite liked it. But somebody said it's like, you know, an osprey, them big old birds of prey like buzzards with massive big wings. It's like watching one of them take off when it starts up, because it's like until it starts going, because it's just frightening. This big monster of a press, and he's only using it to run very slowly. But it got me for 2 days, and he really needed me for 2 months.
Yeah, it's a shame.
To go from plastisol that he stopped printing 3 years ago and drop straight into multicolour water-based on a system he's never seen, it's a hell of a big learning curve. It's huge.
I guess it's one way to get it done, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going to go through some pain. He's doing it. He's committed to it. So that was my San Diego trip. That was 2 days. First time I've been there. That's 2 hours down south from Long Beach. Yeah, so it's right on the west coast near Mexico. And then my next job.
Oh yeah, because didn't you go to Mexico?
Yeah.
All right, so that was your trip to Mexico.
No, that was vacation. So this was 2 days working,
of course it was,
still in America.
Right,
And then I flew all the way to the other side of the country to Florida on the East Coast, which is like a 4.5 hour flight, but I lose 3 hours time difference. So it's like an 8 hour day just traveling. Back to this place where I am now, which I've been twice before. This is a strange one. It's delicate. It's a delicate political situation, but they've got green machines, and we've put a blue machine in. And I want to see how the
when
blue
you say
machine,
blue, which blue?
yours.
All right.
So we put an MHM in, and it's a 5,000. Top of the range, all singing, all dancing, electronic registration, go to functions, and
Hell of a bit of kit.
it is a hell of a bit of kit, and a big Tasoma dryer as well. But this is my second visit. The first visit, I calibrated the press, instructed everybody on how to use it. Everybody was happy. Thought it was great. We've got a spider alongside it. It's all good. Everything's super. And then that was November, so it's only 3 months ago. We go back this time, and it's not the same guy on press. And he says he doesn't like the press. I said, well, okay.
Sack him.
It's acceptable. You're so comfortable using the rock and the green machine that it's acceptable that you'll miss some features, like the go-to feature, like little things like that. You'll miss them, but you should make up for it in the registration. It's like I have to set up a job. What do you mean? And it was just one of the little procedures they were doing wrong, which meant they had to set every job. So they never got to the point where they throw 2 screens in and they're in reg. Purely by Chinese whispers or skill dilution.
Hey, I'll have a shot, but I'm drunk it now.
So the skill dilution has kicked in, and we just missed a key factor, like going back to zero sort of thing, and the saving it and not getting it in the right place. And it was like, it's just missing that 20% of the press, which makes it better than anything else on the market. After 2 days, I asked the killer question. Okay, here's a 6-colour water-based job. You've got all these presses. There's an M&R there, there's a rock there, and there's an MHM there. 6-colour job. You've got limited time to produce it. Off you go. Which press are you picking? MHM. Straight away, no hesitation. I went, well, if I asked you that yesterday, you'd have put it on the rock. He said, yeah, because I'm familiar with all the buttons on the rock. I know where everything is. But since you've been here, now we know that it's in register. So every screen we've put in has been in reg. Now we know that. It makes perfect sense. Even using the tri-lock on the other machines, I get to 70%, and then I have to spend ages pissing about trying to get it ready. Whereas so far, every screen we've put into here has been in the right place. Now you've shown me how to do it. And I'm like, oh yeah, well that's good for me. That's what I want. That's a great thing, because the auto reg. I took a press out of Leicester. I think it was 1988 or 89. It was a black and gold MHM, and it had the auto registration on it.
Yeah, now.
So it's been around for a long time as this auto reg.
Yeah, it's not that new.
It's not. No. And it was a game changer up until CTS coming in. When CTS came in, you're like, do I really need to spend an extra 40 grand on all them whistles and bells and motors that could go wrong? Because once I dial my press in, if my CTS is good, I don't need it all. Which is true, unless you're doing repeat jobs where you've got a library of screens and you just press load and save.
Yeah, you got your catalogue that you can.
Yeah, and you just press load
your settings in.
Yeah, and your setup. So we're going through everything, and we've got this little left breast job. Now, you've already heard me say, to get this white looking good, there's 3 screens. All white, but 3 screens. And he's loading off. When you offload.
Yeah, when you've got like one of those chuffing garments, like a slightly too small for pallet or something, it's like
he's
shimmy
got
it across.
Kids and adults in the same job. So the kids, he needs to pull the sleeve off, and he's got to try and get it lined up. And the adults, he's got to leave it where it is. So, it's one of the features on the MHM that's been around for forever. Is you can just move all the screens 25 mil to the left. So, really? Yeah, and they'll stay in register. So we do it from here.
What?
Click one.
You can do that on mine?
No. You haven't got
No.
auto reg. You've got manual
I'm
reg.
going to say.
So
I'd out that then.
all we would do, because you know where you turn your reg knob?
Yeah.
Replace that with a motor.
And it just...
Yeah. So it just basically moves all the screens, 25 mil to the left, keeps them all in register, and we continue running. And all the screens have been moved over. You know, when you can do that with a 6-colour job, or you can, instead of pulling your pallets out, you move all the screens down.
Yeah.
And it's still in reg.
Gosh, it does it in unison.
Yeah.
Every screen, if it's like
every
a lot
screen
of colours.
exactly the same amount, yeah.
Flipping, no. It's not that delicate a situation, really, is it? Quite simple, MHM's at best.
You're contractually obliged to say that. But, so, yeah, it was a great day showing people the good aspects of the MHM and putting some faith back in to the press that they'd been using, been familiar with, been around for a long time, but there's no way they thought it was better than what they had existing, because they weren't using it correctly.
Yeah, you get used to things, don't you? You get used to what you get used to.
The 3-in-1, you know, the 3 print strokes, 1 flood. So to stop it lifting in the middle, that's a game changer. Yeah. Absolute game changer.
Actually, even for me, that was a good one.
Yeah, it's superb.
Yeah, it is. So where's that one again? That was
Florida, Orlando, next to Mickey Mouse.
And is that where you're at now?
That's where I am now. And then tomorrow I'm going to Minneapolis, up to headquarters of SPSI, who I work with over here.
Oh, cool.
It's going to be like minus
10. Is Dave
10.
be here?
No, I think he's in Indianapolis. So it's going to be...
Leave some flumps in his drawer.
It's
flumps, not drums. Squashes.
Squashes. He's had some squashes, trust me. He's had some rhubarb and custard ones. He likes the rhubarb and custard ones. They're new ones for him.
I saw him in Evan the other day and I was tempted to get some. I don't think I've ever had them. Dangerous game, though, isn't it?
Don't do it. It's like crack cocaine. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Your first one's free.
I'm familiar with that concept on this street.
Minus 10 tomorrow, and it's plus 30 at the minute. So
good grief!
I know. Yeah, I'm not getting ready for cold at all.
You must take some acclimatising. Everywhere you go, it's got like polar opposite.
It's been. I've had a good run of sunshine from California to Florida. I had a good run of sunshine, but it's the snow followed me to Colorado. Snow followed me to Indianapolis, and next it's going to be snowy and cold and freezing. And then I'm coming home.
You're not off to Amsterdam, aren't we? You're going home and then going to Amsterdam.
I've got a job in Belgium before Amsterdam. So I'm home for a day, and then
of course you told me you sort of managed to.
I'm in Belgium,
and you decided to just come home because I know you were sort of stuck in between.
I've got an extra 2 days. I'm trying to get home early, 2 days early, so I can go home, wash my pants.
I'll see you here, what?
And then go to Belgium first.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, and then Amsterdam. What day are you going to Amsterdam? To Vesper?
Did I say Tuesday? I think Tuesday. Yeah, I think we're there Tuesday. Tuesday all day. I don't know how much time I need to allocate. I've pretty much said to Haley, right day off.
Yeah, you'll be walking
off to Vesper. Yeah. I've said right day off, right night off, just in case I happen to bump into... No, I didn't go. Well, I was playing it by ear. I didn't commit to saying I were going or not to anyone. I sort of said, yeah, I might be going. And
you're busy.
On the weekend, I was busy. Ayla was, I was going to go with Ayla and she wasn't feeling 1,000,000%, so we just knocked it on head and didn't go. And in hindsight, I'm sort of glad because it looked like the DTF show and I'm off to Vesper and it's like my first show, so it'd been sort of underwhelming to go to that. It'd been nice to bump into Sarah and it'd been nice to bump into a few others, which I'm sure I'll do at some point. But as far as the show goes, I feel like it would have took a bit of gloss off of Vesper when I get there, and it's like a completely new experience for me, you know. So
yeah. Well, I'm currently trying to work out all the ink and screens and get everything ready for the 4 or 5 designs that we're doing on the press when I get there.
wow,
So,
4 or 5 changeovers, or is it more just per day to something different?
Changeovers. It's supposed to have changeovers. That's the whole point.
It sells it for, doesn't it?
Everybody else just sets it up once and leaves it. We're going to do 4 or 5 changeovers.
I think, you see, if I go to a trade show and I'm in market for a press, and I see 6 presses in a row, 5 of the presses are printing cool giveaway shirts at end at dryer. Go grab one, take one, but that's all they're doing. But one of the machines is swapping screens and waving it above her head and putting different jobs in without, and then just pressing go and it's in perfect reg. It wins the show every time.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't argue with that, can you?
No.
So that's kind of the point of...
That's the point of a trade show, because
we're just one big advert, aren't we? I just realise how we sound sometimes. We're going to have to be careful.
So
start putting people off.
Doing, that's the whole point of going to a trade show, to sell presses, not to print pretty shirts.
Yeah. Are you printing a pretty shirt anyway, though? Because I want one.
5.
5 pretty shirts. Well, I'm only there for one day. Can you just knit me a couple?
Yeah. You'll be sorted. Trust me, you'll come home with loads of shirts. Vespa's a good done.
Did you see... So MHM put a post out and it was an advert for Vespa with you on it. So I reposted it on Instagram stories. But in really small text I put, plus special guest appearance by the world famous Danny D.
I didn't see it.
Not one single person commented on it. I thought,
I never saw it.
I know. Well, I enjoyed it. In fact, I tell a lie, Ailey noticed it. The only person who noticed it was Ailey. She thought it was funny. So we enjoyed it.
She's contractually obliged to find you funny anyway, though.
She is, though. That's true. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's getting on a plane and stuff, and
I'm so glad you're not getting on a plane with me.
Only a bus, innit? It's just a bus with wings. Can't be that hard.
That's all it is. A bus with wings. Yeah. Make sure you get a window seat.
I don't know what she's done. I'm not sure. I need plenty of space and I need an easy access to go for a piss. That's all I know.
You can last an hour and a half, can't you? Oh no, this podcast is proof that you can't last an hour and a half.
I am due to ask the question pretty much. So, in fact, actually, on that note, let me grab a beer and let me go for a wee.
I don't have another beer, so you're all right.
No, that's a shame. Just have to sniff. You can.
Yeah.
I'm back on.
You're tripping up over stuff or what? It sounds like you
it'll be
fell upstairs.
No, just kicking my fridge door shut. I'll have a Planet Pale Ale.
Okay.
I got these for Christmas. Got to drink them. I don't like IPA. I don't know why somebody got me, but...
No, it's a bit citrusy for me. But...
Well, I like citrusy type stuff, so I might enjoy it. So I've had another revelation, Tony.
Go on.
Another change of heart. Now that I'm an eco-warrior and I'm all for dolphins, I've also become pro-support your local business. And I've sort of had... I'll tell you where it stemmed from. Me and Ailey... Oh, we're doing right hair flickering. Do I think fucking L'Oreal advert? Anyway, when I finish my sponsorship obligations,
L'Oreal.
me and our Ailey... L'Oreal expert for men.
Me
and our... Yeah. You'll be on that. What's it? Just for men?
Too fucking late.
I tell you what, for your age, Tony lad, I was got a set of and it's not
going grey now. Mate. It's going grey now. Just here, grey round gills. Grey round gills.
Got some greys going on here.
Yeah.
You're not doing bad, mate. You're not doing bad. What was I saying? Anyway, me and our
support your local business.
On a couple of occasions, we've gone round Hull. We've been out and about, and I've seen various businesses, various drinking establishments or restaurants or whatever, and we've got printed shirts, and it's irked me. It's sort of eating at me a little bit because I haven't. Well, not so much that, just that I haven't printed them.
All right.
And I've never really gone out my way to work to be a local business so much.
So have
because
you
at
joined
first,
local chamber of commerce, and now you're going to networking breakfasts?
yes, basically, yeah, pay £10, and I'm off to like a breakfast club to B2B network and all that shit. No, not really. But yeah, anyway, I've got a little bit of drive and a little bit of ambition now to try and get a little bit more local work, because I've always painted, to the UK in general as a wide. It's an
Whatever
online
came through the
business.
door, basically.
In a way, I did have a showroom at some point and a bit of a setup where people could come see me, and I actually found it quite counterproductive. And I think that sort of set me off on wrong foot. I was almost a little bit. There's not so much local work. It's not the right type of work to target local, which I think set me off on the wrong foot a little bit, because there's work out there locally in Hull and my nearest city, etc. And I want to put a bit of effort and time into getting some of that work. Because it's a market. It's a market for me. I've not got too much local competition, really, in the grand scheme of things. So it'd be a bit silly to not try tap into it a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, do it. Put your name out. Nobody else is going to promote you. Want it. But nobody else is going to promote you. You have to promote yourself. It's got to be down to you. I joined a little organisation called People of Print, which is...
yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, print isn't dead, that one. Yeah.
It's a few quid, isn't it?
Just to push my name a little bit, get a little bit of... people need to know you exist first.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting one for you, because that sort of works for you for your line of work. I've seen it. I've seen that particular one. It seems to be a lot of like lino printers and
there's a lot of handy, crafty people. If you like. Yeah, there's a lot of crafty printmakers. Less of a business, more of a craft side. But there's business ones in there as well. I thought, I quite like some of the stuff that they do. I like the fact that they keep the art alive. So yeah, I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm still doing me Images magazine stuff.
Did you get the email?
Yeah, I might get a bit more involved in Images magazine. See if we can push that forward a little bit. I love writing the stuff for that. I love, putting the point across of a real, like yourself, real UK printer. That's what the magazine's aimed at, and I like to be involved in that a bit more.
I'm a little bit defensive about Images magazine ever since somebody decided to rip into magazines, trade shows, online. I just think so. Yeah, I'm very much pro Images magazine, and etc. So yeah, that's cool. That'd be good. I will go about it. Not 100% sure. I think a little bit involves website work. A little bit involves getting in touch with local businesses.
Yeah, make the first
move.
The
old-fashioned way.
Make the first move. Send them an email.
Yeah. Now, it's a tricky subject, is that? And it's a potential banana skin, and I know this because it's happened. Emailing, I guess you'd call it cold emailing.
Yeah, like
reaching
spam.
Out. It sort of is. Now you can do it in a certain way, which I personally think is not spam at all. It's just common sense, good business practice. If you want to work with people, just get in touch with them and ask them. And if you do it in a certain way, to me, it should be totally acceptable. But if you treat it as a numbers game, and you
become a digitizer, don't you? Then,
well, yeah, but if you start emailing people and it follows a certain template, not necessarily. Your inbox, believe it or not, it's in the background is almost a hidden ranking system, a rating system, and I guess it's a numbers game. I guess it's however many emails you send. If a certain amount of them are automatically being deleted, or if you're opening them and marking them as junk or whatever, your rank goes down, and it gets to a point where you send emails and they land in people's junk mail, or worst case scenario, they don't even land in their inbox at all. And this happened to me a few years back. Me and Jasmine built up a list of people we'd like to work with, potential customers, and we sent them a really nice, polite, hand-typed email. Every one of them was that little bit different. It followed roughly the same template, but it wasn't a copy and paste job.
Yeah.
And we sent quite a fair few emails out. It was almost a practice for Jasmine once she run out of stuff to do and she was feeling a bit bored. Open a list and chip away at it. Send some emails out. And months down the line, we had loads of problems where customers were emailing, but we'd reply and we never hear back. Somebody sent, a quote request. So we'd send them a price and we're like, not a sausage, not a single reply whatsoever. And it took me a little while to find this out. I think somebody actually messaged me on Instagram. I think I put a post out saying, look, I'm at my wit's end here. I don't know what the chuffing hell's going on, but we're emailing you and nobody seems to be getting us. And anyway, it turned out this was the problem. Basically, because of these emails,
your ranking had dropped.
Yeah. So there is a way to fix it, and it was basically a software called Inbox Warm Up, I think it is, and that is the software sort of sends emails back and forth between accounts in a soft, non-aggressive way, so that ranking steadily climbs up, and your email goes out. This software sends an email on your behalf. An inbox who owns this software also opens it and automatically sort of replies.
So it looks like an interaction.
Builds that trust back up, and it's a good way to repair your inbox. If you are happening to have troubles where you're landing in people's junk, or look it up, Inbox Warm Up. That'll help your issues.
Yeah, good shout.
So anyway, the point is, that's the danger. Getting in touch with people, like, it's a really good way of doing it, but also it's a little bit risky to do.
You might get jumped.
Yeah, so I think I might go down the route of putting together a little care package of some sort and sending something physical rather than just an email.
I would.
Can't do hundreds. You can't do a list of 1,000 people.
No, we used to do an embroidery swatch, so not a completed garment, just a swatch of one to a local company. Yeah. We had to. It cost us the time of digitising, but once we'd done it, there's nothing better as a local owned business to see your name on something. That's the way that you signal to the world that you make it. You either put your name on a shirt, or above a shop, or in a van. Those three things mean you've made it. And you're a winner.
Yeah. I'll have to think about that. So that's been fresh on my mind. I'm not looking at my list. I've got a question for you, though.
Come on.
Now, this is actually, I have to apologise to Disprince because he asked me this a couple of times and I forgot to bring it up. Not like me, is it?
He might have asked me directly by now.
No, well, he reminded me not too long ago, so hopefully not. But Disprince, struggling with puff additive. Not getting the curing part right. I'm guessing I need to cure low and slow, but I'm struggling to find the balance between cured and over-cured. Too loose.
Let's try.
A good puff. To lose the good puff. I might have typed that down wrong. Basically, in a nutshell, he's struggling with puff additive.
The puff
is a tricky one.
Puffs are making a comeback, undoubtedly.
It seems to be, doesn't it? I've noticed that.
Everything goes in cycles. It goes glitter, puff, metallic, glitter, puff, metallic, glitter, puff, metallic. High build, glitter, puff, metallic. Right now, puff's at the forefront. So, basics. It's always back to basics with puff. Number one, maximum ink deposit.
EOM.
So that's the golden rule. No ink deposit.
Yeah, whether you use EOM,
whether you use EOM, whether you use a 24 mesh, whether you use a round blade, we can go back to round bullnose blades. Or
I'd love to see one of them.
Yeah,
who does the blade? Who does the blade? Because I've never seen it.
Female make it. It's just a profile.
But where do we get it in UK?
I would think Pyramid will sell it.
Yeah, I'll have to ask.
Yeah.
I don't want them. I'm just curious.
You dick.
It was a bit aggressive, that, wasn't it? Who makes it then?
So maximum ink coverage by doing everything we can with mesh, with blade, with angle, with pressure, double stroke, maximum ink coverage. The ink itself is a key. There's ink additive and there's ink base. Make sure you've got
two
the
different
right
types,
one.
isn't there?
Ink base requires a little bit of colour adding to it. Ink additive requires adding to colour.
In your experience, do you have a preference?
Yeah, I like the stronger one, the additive, where you add to a mixed
You
colour.
do?
Yeah.
I see.
It gives you more control of the finished colour. And always remember that the finished colour will go at least one, usually two shades lighter than the Panto.
But there is a little
hack
to that.
There is a little hack, which is overprint. So print the puff as a base first.
Yeah.
Print it first, flash it, but don't make it rise on the press.
Yeah. To the point that it's just dry.
Tack it dry. Then drop your colour or colours over the top. And then let the magic happen in the dryer. The issue with the dryer is too hot looks the same as too cold. So like a souffle would rise and flop. That's exactly what the ink does. It blows and it expands and it goes up.
Yeah.
And then, if it still continues to be heated, it drops back down again.
That's
so at the end of the dryer, it looks like it hasn't lifted. When in fact, it lifted at 3 foot inside your 4 foot dryer. And that last foot killed it. So it's usually going through the dryer faster.
You could overcure it.
We'll usually go through faster. So 155 to 165, anywhere in that window. And then anywhere between 30 and 60 seconds. We've really got to just lift it. Maximum ink deposit, probable underbase, and fine detail on the dryer are my 3 top tips.
All right, yeah. So is there a visible sign that the shirt's cured when that souffle rises? Is that an indication that it's done, job's done?
Yes, that's it.
So if you time it, basically what you try to do is you try to time the speed on your belt to the point that you're hitting that souffle rising and it's at the end of the dryer.
Peak, that's it, done. Just as it hits its high spot, that's it, done. If you keep it in the dryer and it starts to drop a little bit, we lose adhesion, it drops altogether, it looks flat, so we don't win at all. So we've got to try and getting that. Look, trust me, even for me, that's a really difficult move. Finding that sweet spot of the dryer and the amount of ink we've got and the temperature and the ink consistency for me is difficult. So
I've always found puff additive just that little bit extra bit of
I found an Instagram page that explained that really well.
You did?
But I haven't got Instagram open at the minute. Street warehouse. Let me see if I can find exactly what they are. Oh, I don't like this. There we go. I don't like it on my laptop. Street Warehouse Official. So on Instagram, Street Warehouse Official.
Let's have a look.
Puff ink process. Like
this is how we took a normal print and made it puff like this. College using tie-dye shockwear shirts. We first print the puff base screen.
Probably at an
a
angle.
lot of people don't really know how this looks, but the puff ink is actually pretty transparent. Yeah. We flash dry it to where it's dry to touch and still very smooth. Then we put down a thick layer of black ink on top of our puff base. It still looks like a very plain screen print right after he pulls it off. However, as you run it through the conveyor dryer, it cures the ink and activates the puff. This is what it looks like coming out. Follow us for more screen print.
That looks awesome.
This is how we took a normal print.
Basically overprint.
Yeah, that's the overprint method.
Yeah,
that means you can have 2 or 3 puff colours in one design then.
Yeah, that's good. That's a fair point, which I've never actually considered. You can achieve multiple colour puff prints.
Yeah, because
one puff
historically
base.
it goes last. The puff print goes last because if you step on it, it dies. Like a pregnant spider. But,
yeah. What a weird saying. Where did you come up with that? That's a pregnant spider. Why does she have to be pregnant?
Because when you stand on them, loads of little spiders come out of them.
Oh, do they? Oh, I've never done it. Never done it. I'm nippy, mate. I'm all about the dolphins and spiders nowadays. So
yeah, you changed. You've changed.
Cheers, Sonny. What a sellout. He didn't ask me about this, but I noticed also he's been trying to print camo. Now, camo is notoriously a pain in the ass.
It's a sublimated print, so normally we use dye blocker. Yeah, dye blocker, dye blocker, dye blocker. If in doubt, 2 dye blockers.
So dye blockers?
Dye blocker, flash, dye blocker. No, it's a standard
I
practice.
See, right, yeah. I have
dye blocker, flash, dye blocker, flash, white. Flash colours.
I've done that. I've run in a job which is actually going to be using Magna's black dye block tomorrow, actually.
Migration eliminator.
And I typically have been flash printing that particular product. I find it dries. I like it. I really like the product because it's so soft and smooth, but I find it dries out a little bit quicker than typical HSA.
It's gritty. It's very gritty.
It's very gritty. So that's why I'm flash printing it. I found that to be the best way to use it.
Yeah.
I know Disprint mainly plastisol, if I'm not wrong. So you'd maybe have to get like a dye blocker. I know Pyramid do a dye blocker.
Yes, Under Armour Grey. Armour Grey, it's called normally.
Yeah. So I know do you find with the greys, the colours sit on top a little bit better? So normally you'd print a cotton shirt white, colours on top. But if you print in a grey block, and then you have to print white, then you print in a colour on top. Is that the standard way to do it, or does that grey base give you the option to print grey colour?
If you're printing like a yellow or something on top of that grey base, you'll lose the tones. Looks a bit dull. So the standard is dye blocker, flash, white, flash. Then the option then is second base, or straight onto colours. But yellow on top of that dark grey tends to look very dark. So I go dye blocker, flash, white, flash, and then optional third underbase of white.
Yeah.
First underbase grey, second underbase white, third underbase grey.
Starts getting a bit thick though, doesn't it? Do you have any little things that just higher mesh counts?
Higher mesh counts, 60s and 70s.
I mean, you've got to run a blocker through a low mesh.
Yeah.
I mean, the
blocker through a low mesh like a 43 or something, or a 55, and then top colours are on
up your top colours
on 62, 77.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good bit of tippery. Tipperary. A bit of tippery for you there, Disprints, me old mucker, me old pal. Try to sell me Anatole.
All right, okay.
Got an Anatole for sale, I don't know if I mentioned. Oh, I've got a dryer sale as well, actually, now.
Yeah.
I'm going to clean it up and get it on eBay, I think. So that's question of the week done.
Okay.
You know what's next, don't you? I feel like we should have like an intro music.
Yeah.
Where it's like, and my way, question of the day. Top of the morning to you, two bruisers. I hope the workloads have been treating you well. It's been raining heaps where we are lately. Flooding like no one's business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wrong'un. Or she's a wrong'un. Because it was sunny as fuck 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now it's flooding.
Proper
Make your mind up. Just try to wind us up.
Yeah.
Although I will tell you, Tony, you'll be sad to hear Dribbles has taken a turn for the worst and vanished into the deluge. And I don't know whether lines of reality meet fantasy here. Is Dribbles actually his cat?
I don't know. I'm
and
struggling
if so,
with it now.
And if your cat has done a run, here's my sympathy, condolences, or whatever the word is. Good job that pussies have 9 lives.
Oh, stop it now. Stop it now.
Anywho, I had a question about charges for screen setups. That's tickled you out, isn't it?
It's like turning into the Benny Hill show.
It is, isn't it? Hey dear. Anywho, I had a question about charges for screen setups, which is ironic because we did a bit of that early on in the episode.
Yeah.
We tend to work on minimums of 51 garments in an order. 51? Actually, I wish I knew that. I wish I knew who it would to ask. Why 51? Why not 50?
Yeah, there's a breakdown, isn't there?
Yeah. Anyway, minimums of 51 garments in an order per print type, and often just include the screens for free. But if we have a 10 colour job, tend to start charging for them again. That's a very interesting concept.
I've got absolutely waylaid there because I think I know who it is.
Oh, have you dropped your cent in it?
There were a lot of information there, especially 51.
Oh, I thought it was Dribbles the cat, but give it away. 51. I'm not. I know. I mean, to be fair, if I were really that way inclined, I could just go look at everybody's website's terms and conditions until I find it. I'm not that arsed, to be honest.
No.
I was wondering what your model for charging screens is. Do you just do them all for free, or is that linked to quantities in the order? What happens when you get a colour job? Thanks for the show and keep that carousel spinning. Well, I can answer mine quite quickly. I
don't have one, so it's got to. You've got to answer this. I don't charge screens, so I don't make screens. If I did, I would charge as a setup per colour. Not to make money, but to discourage stupid things like, can you print me another 2?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just charge per screen. If I need to make 10 screens, I charge 10 screens.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Each screen is a flat fee. It's just simply a setup fee. Now, what I used to do is be very transparent, and I used to say to people, well, your setup fees is this much, your garments are costing this much, your print is costing this much. I found it much easier now, and I get way less back and forth by saying T-shirts are going to cost you £5 per shirt.
Yeah,
in.
And you've already worked it in.
I've got a spreadsheet. The setup fees are worked in together, and at the end of that spreadsheet, it says this much per T-shirt.
Yeah.
So as far as the customer cares, it's a tenner a T-shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, yeah, if I'm making 10 screens, they're paying a certain fee per screen.
Yeah.
Dead simple. The idea of doing, I guess it's a competitiveness maybe, or I can only imagine it's a competitiveness, only charging for screens after a certain point. Unless you're just that efficient with screen making, you've got all the auto gear.
Maybe they're a big
You've
company.
got a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that it might be.
I think it's a big company with lots of auto stuff.
Down south?
No. The 51 gave it away.
Roswell. Are we in Roswell, Area 51? Are we actually talking to E.T.? Auntie Moira is actually E.T.
Phone home.
Yeah. You have to tell me after episode. I feel like it'd be a shame to spoil the illusion.
Yeah.
Out. No. We'll get it wrong anyway. It'll be something totally different. How many times have we had
still think it's you.
Well, not denying or not.
No, I'm not. I'm not clever enough to come up with this. Dribbles
No.
the cat. Dribbles the cat. I couldn't have been able to keep that one quiet.
I really hope it's true. Not just a bit of fun. Hey, good gosh, Tony.
Have you seen my pussy? No.
So, thanks for that, Auntie Mary. As always, I do enjoy your emails every week or two. Keep them coming. We'll try to answer.
So the answer is basically most people charge a flat rate, and whether you hide it or incorporate it is up to you.
Yeah. I think charge a flat rate, which is obviously going to vary depending on your shop and what equipment you've got and how much your supplies cost, etc., etc. I think it's a slippery slope going, well, this person charges 15 quid, so I'm going to charge 15 quid.
No.
Do your own calculations. Which obviously I don't need to tell Auntie Moira about with her. I'm sure.
No, because this is where you do your own calculations. So pour your emulsion into the trough, weigh it on your digital scales, and then minus.
If you want to discount all that shite, just count how many screens you get per pot.
Just do a little tally chart, like it's
Get a whiteboard next to your
1925.
emulsion. Put a notch on your bedpost every time you go to screen. Right, let's knock it onto you, Tony lad. We've done hour 50.
You've done all right, mate. You've done all right, mate.
Descending into madness.
Nobody quite realises. I normally get up at crack of sparrows and it's dark, and you're sort of like just having your dinner. Well, we've completely flipped it on Ed for the first time, and you're keeping your eyes open with matchsticks. You're still at work at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm looking out a window at sunshine, thinking I'll go for a dip in pool in a minute.
Oh, you bastard! I've passed 10 at night. I've had no tea. I've just done 8 hours washing screens.
Seabrook's beefy for dinner.
I've had 7 packets of crisps to put me on. No, I would do it, Tony. I would do it every time if we had to, because that's how committed I am to the cause.
Yeah. Can't do enough for a good podcast.
Look like I've been in a scrap, don't they?
I know, yeah, what you've been doing. Did you fall over?
Washing screens. It's an ordeal, honestly. I'm over it. Over it.
Get a knife. You've just charged 20 quid for it. You might as well just cut it out.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is it. Right, well, listen, I hope you all enjoyed that. I had a good time. A couple of beers. Had a couple of good little tips in there, I think. I think we were one or two for me, so I'm sure a few other people have got something out of it.
Yeah.
It's time to knock it onto your head and say, well, I won't say it because that'll spoil your little out monologue.
No, I'm doing good. I'm loving this being a passenger. You go for it. You sign us off.
I set you up
professionally.
I set you up. That's the
right.
new.
Okay,
that's
is that how we do it? Right. Okay. So all that remains to be said.
You'll knock it down.
So all that remains to be said is, thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed what you hear, like, subscribe, follow, donate money, whatever makes you feel warm and fluffy inside.
Yeah.
We're okay with it.
I take beer, not Brewdog. Don't really like this stuff, but
it's a bit lemonade for you, isn't it? So you have.
We all taste like soap.
Yeah, they do. You have been listening to and watching me, Tony P from Palm Print, and
Danny Day, Flippy Sweet Print Co.
We will catch you next week on the flip side as we try and do it all again.
We'll do it all again.
I might be at home.
I
might be home by next week. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm still over here, week after.
Oh, that excitement was quickly.
Yeah.
Very short-lived. Right then, all best everybody. You bloody look after yourselves, all right? Sick of telling you.
All right, I'll see you.
Ta-da.
Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry Kool-Aid. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy Tee.